Okay, all ready to go? Let's get started! I'll start the game.
Hi! Hey everyone, welcome to the cool stream. Welcome to the room. Full cam today. We're doing a full cam. No bells, no whistles. Do we got a soundboard? Yeah, we got a soundboard. Hold on. Let's try that again.
Think you can get it inside mine?
Yeah, think you can? Give it your best shot. Also, a friendly reminder. Let's see if I got this. Let me make sure all my plugs are in place here. Is it there? Hit that. Oh, I have it on the wrong. Not bad. We're gonna get that in there. We're gonna get that in there. Okay, let's try that again. Show it to me. Okay, it's not working. Leave that like. You get the message. Hello, everyone. Who do we got in this chat? Who do we got in here? Hikiko about to solve the charity drama with this high IQ take. It's going to be something. I honestly was going to film a little video on this, and I figured, let's engage with chat. Let's break it all down. Get into the granular detail of the Completionist charity saga. This has been in my feed for a whole month, and I haven't, I'm not one of those guys who's just going to reasonably stay out of it until all the facts come out. I'm going to give my take. I've actually been giving my take for like the past month. I came to my conclusion rather quick. I just noticed that numbers didn't add up, and I said, that's curious. Guilty. Welcome. Who's in the chat? We got our onagiris here today. Tuna onagiri today in chat. Stream snack. I haven't eaten all day. This is wonderful. Let's get him in here. Filling in. We got musicology. Rewind video. He back. Yeah, somebody had requested specifically the Cool Stream. They said, I have been watching the Cool Stream archives, which are kind of hidden. You have to go to the Cool Stream playlist to watch the Cool Streams. They dug into the archive. They wanted more. Is that a donut? We got a little Pokemon fan there. Yeah, it's a donut. So, I've gathered you here today to give my most reasoned take on the Completionist charity saga. I guess I'll kind of give you a background. If you don't know, Completionist is a big, wholesome, chungus, bearded YouTuber, primarily aimed not at my demographic. I've never sat down and thought, I'm going to watch a Completionist video and watch him 100% complete again. No, I've never done that. I just play games for myself. I'm not a part of his demographic. I don't have a dog in the fight per se. Okay. I don't know him personally. I've met him at a convention once. I said, how do you do? Shook his hand. And you know what? He was a nice guy and therefore innocent from that point forward. No, it was like many years back. A buddy of mine, David, who contributes to the channel, knew Girard in all of his contents, more familiar with the whole normal boots thing. Me personally, I don't watch a lot of other video game YouTubers per se. That's not for like any normal reason. I just if I feel like I'm going to cover something or make a video on it, I'd rather just, play it myself and then share it with you guys and then be done with it. Okay. I don't really get a second opinion unless it's something like I'm really on the fence. It's out of my comfort zone and it's like $70. Just kind of get the general buzz and then, let everyone have their own opinions. Anyway, so the Completionist, his name's Gerard Khalil, I believe. He was the CEO of a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation. Annually, they'd put together a charity live stream called Indieland, which drew in indie developers to showcase their new games and then donate, the viewers would donate money under the presumption that it would be going to dementia research, of which Girard, the guy who's running the show, his mother passed away from complications related to dementia about 12 or 15 years ago. And I guess that's the whole stated purpose of why he created this Open Hand Foundation, was in the memory of his dead mother, which he will remind you time and time again. So inherently, nothing wrong with any of those words that I said. The situation seemed rather wholesome, as things tend to do. There's a whole market of wholesome content, big, happy, fun time, nice guy content creators out there. I'm certainly not one of them. I cannot pretend to be anything that I'm not, okay? If I were nicer, I guess, if I made more childlike things, I'd be a part of the club. I ain't in that club, so we can speak freely here. So, turns out this guy allegedly kept over $650,000. That's been reported, mind you. That's been reported, not going to any of the foundations or charity organizations that he claimed. So in his live streams, he's like, I'm not touching the money. It's going to this foundation. It's going to that. And then just Mudahar and Carl Jobst made very simple videos at first saying, here's the tax documents that why is this money in this account in limbo not going to these organizations? And that's the gist of this whole drama. But there's so many more layers to it, which makes it interesting because there's kind of a ripple effect. Like these things, like when these problems happen, when these big expose videos happens, it really fucks with everyone else on the platform. Like now people who want to actually do a charity stream have to then second guess, like, well, what's the perception here? I've got to do my due diligence. I got to make sure I'm completely transparent. And then people who want to donate to these things also second guess, like, well, how do I know where the money is going? So it's been a very interesting ride so far. I thought I would just give my small little intimate community, like, as I said, I ain't gonna fit in with the big boys, never have. So I really have no bias in this other than I find this to be an interesting situation. And I know some of the key players involved. Like I've watched Carl Job's videos, and Mutahar has used some of my work once in the past. So that's my association here, okay? Got nothing personally. Like I'm not like emotionally invested in this shit beyond it's funny. In a very morbid way, it's funny. So there's two camps of people. There's rational people that are able to look at the situation and look that the numbers don't add up and the money didn't go where it was supposed to go. And then there are people that think Girard is a nice guy. Those are the two camps. There's no in between. It's, oh, this looks really bad and he guilty and nah, he was nice to me. He's my friend. That's it. No, I'm kidding. There were some more nuanced takes in here. Essentially, Girard has garnered a reputation over the years of being a wholesome YouTube content creator, and you see a lot of that. I've been around on YouTube just watching as a viewer since it first began. Okay, I was like in high school, and I've seen a lot of rises and falls along the way. So nothing really surprises me anymore. Like, oh, big, over $1 million worth of charity fraud allegedly. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. But I think for a lot of the younger bucks out there watching YouTube, they have a parasocial relationship with funny haha beard man on the screen. This is causing their first instance of cognitive dissonance. They've had the rug pulled under them. What? You mean Bing Bing Wahoo Mario Man was lying to me? No. So I watched a lot of that play out. Hostile reactions across the board. There's people that want Girard to go to the guillotine, and there's a bunch of kids that are like lashing out at people on Twitter that are just asking questions like where's the money and how much of it was there actually, and what does Jamie Lee Curtis think of this? Reasonable questions. So let's dial it back. Girard, the completionist, the central figure here, decided to make the biggest mistake in this whole drama. He made one monumental fuck up. And I'm not even talking about the money. I'm talking about the whole spark that lit the powder keg here. He got a Discord call from Mutahar and Carl Jobst. This was a pivotal moment in all this drama. He chose to answer the phone. No! If you even have like if he could have been perceived, like maybe he's innocent and he could have been perceived guilty, there is no reputational benefit to answering a Discord call in almost any circumstance. Any lawyer worth their salt would advise you to delete Discord. Nothing good comes from Discord. You should be deleting it now. So he decides to answer this call. And to Mutahar and Carl Job's credit, they went easy on him. They did not release the whole phone call between the completionist, Mutahar, and Carl. That was not on the table just yet. They only released like a small clip where he's like, yeah, I've known about this for only like 2 years. I've known about the money. It's been sitting in the account for about 2 years. And ultimately, he wasn't like, it didn't sound too bad. It sounded like maybe he was in over his head. He's running this charity organization, and he just didn't know how to distribute the funds. Maybe you give him the benefit of the doubt. He was waiting to pick a proper charity organization, so on and so forth. You have no reason to suspect anything is wrong just yet. And then Carl kind of, releases just some clips that are just suspect. And then in that video, he organizes like, yes, the Open Hand Foundation is a middleman that's just collecting all these bags of donations in hopes of giving it to the right organization, the right charity, right, for dementia research. So that's in the initial video, right? There's a lot of money. It's sitting in a bank account of a middleman third-party organization that's supposed to give that money over to actual dementia research. And that doesn't happen. I didn't need to hear anything else. I was convinced something was wrong, and that it just didn't, just generally speaking, you don't need a middleman to donate to charity, okay? On YouTube right now, there's a feature. If you're a live streamer, you can do a YouTube charity stream where it's just a toggle. I want all these super chats, all this ad revenue to go to this organization, and YouTube will take that money and pour it into the bank account of said charity, and then you are not culpable of any sort of potential fraud, okay? That was probably the easiest way. Like, he could have still done these streams. He didn't need to open a middleman organization. So that was suspect. That and I have like inherent biases, okay? I met a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, as it were, right? I'm always on guard when I see, like, the happy, smiling, PG-friendly YouTuber in general, okay? I don't watch him. You look into Scott the Woz. There's something there. All right, okay, I'm not going that far, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen it time and again where somebody will say that I'm doing this great thing. I'm doing it for charity. I'm doing it in the memory of a dead loved one or what have you. And that in itself is honorable, okay? Yeah, we all have, I would say there's like a small degree of separation between every person in this chat and myself and somebody like that had either Alzheimer's or dementia. So tugging at your heartstrings, all right? Tugging at your pocketbook with that. And I think Carl later illustrated that point where Girard this entire time had been using his dead mother, who had been dead for almost, 2 decades at that point, to prop up this whole organization. And he kept using the phrases like, oh, we don't touch the money. We don't touch the money. Just go straight to the place. And it wasn't. So those are like bold inconsistencies. But as I said, video 1, before even Mutahar put out his video, I'm like, this guy is a liar. I don't believe anything from, like, he has so many things in here that's wrong that he should be on the defensive. Like, his next move should be producing receipts. And as I said, I have a YouTube channel. I get paid here. I don't get paid a whole lot, but I do have to file these taxes and account for, all the expenses associated with, and that gets evaluated. Okay. It's kind of hard to hide this money, but somehow Girard had a whole family organization called the Open Hand Foundation, and his father's involved and his brother's involved. I'm not sure if any other family members, but it's a whole family affair. and, and like once you have that in your mind, you know that if Girard admits fault, if he takes the fall, his family falls with him, and this whole thing is predicated on a deceased family member. So it's just really messy. There's no clean way for him to walk out of it now, but he did have an out. And I'll get into that. So Mutahar and Carl released these series of videos on Girard. Some of them contain a Discord call that they had with the Completionist, where he, in the full version of that, admits to so much more than just like fudging the numbers or just, losing track of things. You kind of get a deeper look into a man groveling, that the facade that he has built up over this decade or so that he's been on YouTube is coming to an end. And it's hard to listen to, especially near the end where he's talking about, like, there's an implicit bribe situation going on. We'll get into that. So Girard puts out a response video, and this is kind of like, you ever see like one of those animes or something like that? Or Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is my best example here. You do a cross-examination. Like Phoenix comes out, objection! And he pulls out a letter that has, the gunpowder residue belonging to the suspect, the defendant's gun. Okay, same shape and stuff like that. And you just hear the whip crack, whoosh, right? And then all of a sudden, their face contorts, right? So Girard, like Carl and Mutahar had just presented that critical piece of evidence, right? The tax records. Went into there, and then the judge was like, I'm still not convinced. So Girard comes out, and then it just like, he snaps into, I'm a very firm person now, okay? I'm being accused of all of this, and they're wrong, and I'm going to present no evidence for my side of this. I'm just going to, the first thing Girard presents is a death certificate of his mother. And I was shocked. I was like, you're going to bring this out? That wasn't in question. Everyone believed your mother had dementia. That wasn't up for question here. It would be really wild if she didn't even have dementia. I will admit that. That would have been the biggest twist. But that wasn't in question here. It was, why do you have $600,000? Most of it is Jamie Lee Curtis's in this bank account for a decade, and you didn't do anything with it. And that in itself, like, his flimsy excuse was, we were looking for the right charity for 10 years. And then I just suddenly found it. I just found the right one conveniently after these two videos came out. Just, it was there. So a lot of these things in that video was like, if you ever watch Jim Can't Swim or any of these like criminal interrogation things, you see a lot of like manipulative techniques in here. So to a lot of the kids that are watching Girard here, have to explain how he's allegedly committed felonies and stolen money from you and Jamie Lee Curtis, and did not use those funds for the intended purposes. All they have, like, as I said, there's a cognitive disconnect here with these kids, because they see happy, funny beard man, and he's sad. I've never seen him sad. I've never seen him angry, and he's defending himself, but he has no receipts. He has no evidence, and this is the last video he's going to make on the subject, okay? This is the final word. There's no further clarification that needs to be made. I was shocked about how the tone it is, because at the very end of that video, he implies that he's going to sue Mutahar and Carl. And ironically enough, they were very charitable to Girard. And that will become like later apparent because after he makes his veiled threats that he's going to sue Mutahar and Carl, that same night, his brother goes on the Completionist subreddit and is replying to people, implying like, ha ha ha, we're going to sue him. For what? What exactly did they do that's actionable, right? In my opinion, Mutahar and Carl gave Girard an out, okay? If they were just going to publish their videos to manufacture drama, they would have just done that without a call, okay? You see how many people on YouTube that just fly by the seat of their pants with no receipts or no interview, nothing, and they just shit out videos and make accusations all the time. I feel that Carl and Mutahar gave Girard a chance to state his case reasonably, and they were probably talking to him to like guide him towards doing the right thing. I feel that was the ultimate intended purpose here, was he could have gotten out of this situation. Now it's hard to, as a spectator, it's hard to say like what I would have done in that situation. If I'm in the hot seat, I'm Girard, I know there's some suspect stuff going on with my charity. Maybe my family's involved. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to get out of this and not say anything, okay? That's an option. He could have gone quiet, but no, he chose to make a very angry and threatening video thereafter. Turns out, that Discord call, there was a lot more to it. There were a lot more layers to it where Girard knew he was fucked. You can hear desperation in his voice, pleading, potentially saying like, hey, it's going to sound really bad. I don't want to sound like I want to bribe you, but I got like 20 people that work for me and I got mouths to feed and stuff, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I actually wanted to get out of YouTube content creation. And that in itself is a major red flag in my book, because I wonder how many other big content creators are in the same boat as Girard. They're stuck in this inconsistent income platform where on a whim, on a stroke of the algorithm, a change in the TOS, they get demonetized or they just have a bad month. The viewership is split amongst all these different things, like a diminishing. So he wanted out. Girard wanted to get out of YouTube, and I think more people need to focus on that bit, because everything afterwards makes sense. Why he behaved the way he did. Anyways, I always find that bit curious to that whole stream is I wanted to go make an indie game. I wanted to find a new way, because these people have like essentially tied their entire livelihood to a platform where there's just diminishing returns. Coming from Hikiko, I've put a lot more in financially to this hobby of creating videos than I've gotten back in return. Okay? Now imagine you're Girard and you have 20 people working under you. Like, what do you do? Like, it's hard to make that transition, but he's essentially put these people associated with him, and that means everyone, the broader spectrum. Like, even if you're an indie developer and you showed up on that stream, it affects you. If you're another big content creator, it puts you in a precarious position, because you now have to make a statement on what he did. Even if you don't want to, even if you had no involvement beyond, I thought I was giving to charity, people are going to expect you to give your take. And a lot of takes started coming out all at once. So, initial video comes out. They're like, hey, something's suspect about this charity organization, the Completionist. All of his buddies, all of his clique, all the retro gaming YouTubers came out and said, Carl and Mutahar are trying to drum up drama for clicks, despite them being like million odd. They have more. Honestly, if you look at the situation, Mutahar and Carl knew they had more on the line in this respect to their reputation. They had to be solid. They had to believe that he was guilty before of these incidents before they put anything out, because they, especially Carl Jobst, he's dealing with that I think defamation lawsuit with Billy Mitchell. You know, this isn't their first rodeo. They've been in precarious situations where they've had to make some bold claims. I think the onus has always been on Girard to own up. Just own up to, I was in over my head. I'm running this charity organization. I'm going to donate the money. I should have donated it earlier. I know this doesn't make up for it. I'm going to pitch in an extra $20,000, an extra $40,000 to like compensate for the loss of value due to inflation. Let's go play Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And his audience would eat it up. This probably would have blown over after one video. So he chose the path of what I call like, okay, this is my own bias here, but from what I've read about Girard and his upbringing, he has like real rich kid energy. Now, some of you might not know what I'm talking about, but the other poor kids like yours truly in this chat will know what rich kid energy is. It's like they've never had to apologize or be held accountable for something they did. Okay, they stole a cookie from the cookie jar. Whatever, mommy and daddy will buy another one, right? They've never had to like humble themselves in such a way, and I think that isn't like that explains a bit of his reaction in his apology video. He's got rich kid energy, a rich kid vibe, to where he thinks that he can buy his way out of the situation, or he can hire lawyers to get out of the situation. But what's not on the table is, yeah, I'm sorry, I fucked up. He's never had to say that sentence ever. I'm sorry I messed this all up. I fucked this up. I'm going to stop. I'm going to do the right thing. Could have been that simple, I feel. So then you have all of, like, there's an associated bubble here, okay? In YouTube, there's various cliques. It's just like high school, okay? I'm over here in the niche Japanese content creator clique, okay? Borderline VTuber anime, like some crossover there. There's the retro gaming clique, where to be a part of it, you got to have a trucker hat and a goatee and never play the games that you cover about. You never play the games you talk about. You just talk about their value, and then you sell those same games on eBay. That's the retro gaming community clique. There's the Nintendo Bing Bing Wahoo clique. Okay, I only talk about Nintendo games. This is my childhood, Chibi Robo, okay? He kind of has some crossover with all that. He's the nice guy. Everyone loves Girard. And what made me laugh is he's in this Discord call, okay? So the whole call, I think Carl put out the whole call, and you hear the thought process of Girard, like rationalizing, walking through this whole situation. He goes, up until this point, I've managed to avoid controversy. The G4 melting down, the Pro Jared situation, JonTron's a racist, all of it. I've dodged it. Now they're going to think I'm some kind of bad guy. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, JonTron's fine. JonTron has millions of subs. He releases a video a year, and he's okay. Everyone shows up to watch it. Teflon JonTron. Don't pretend you care about JonTron. Don't pretend, don't step in here and claim that like JonTron has been canceled by any stretch. He's doing better than he's ever done. But in the same respect, folks, he should be looking at those situations with a bit of hope. He should look at Pro Jared Pro Jared, by the way, came out first dude on the scene in Girard's defense before he deleted it. But Pro Jared was one of the first homies out there to defend Girard on Twitter. Girard should be like sitting back, looking at the Pro Jared situation and thinking to himself, you know, Pro Jared, he's got photos of his penis out there. He's got photos of himself in a Sailor Mercury outfit. He's ruined 2 marriages and has nothing to show for it. and he somehow dodged pedophile accusations, and that kind of, you know, worked out to be ultimately a plus. He hasn't recovered fully, but he walked away okay. That Girard should look at Pro Jared with respect. Like, he did it the right way. You know, he apologized. He also provided receipts. He should have followed in his homie's example a little bit, but also had some hope that, you know, if I own up to my misdeeds and I'm just honest with it, eventually I can climb my way out of this. JonTron should be looking at JonTron and saying, like, maybe I should go for JonTron and just say, I didn't mean any of those words. I'm just going to continue making content. I didn't mean to commit charity fraud. Sorry, whoopsie. I'm going to donate that money. Let's go back to Super Mario Odyssey. But instead, he looks at those as these are unrecoverable mistakes, and my life is over. And the reason why you would think your life is over is if you truly did something warranting of your life being over, okay? I wouldn't say Pro Jared did that. I mean, his penis is out there. I have seen it, not by choice, but it was for a good month. It was posted in every timeline everywhere, and I've scrolled by it a few times and may have compared some... No, I'm just saying, like, that is humiliating, okay? Not everyone's going to agree that that's probably, like, in the whole grand scheme, the whole Pro Jared retrospective here, he did drag his relationship out into public. Okay? No one forced him to post a twit longer saying, like, my marriage is over, folks. We're ending things amicably. Big wholesome chungus, because that's where you go wrong. When you hold on to the big wholesome chungus visage and then some real shit hits you, there's that disconnect, that cognitive dissonance. These two things don't add up. This guy was on Nickelodeon, and now he's getting a divorce? I thought he was a great guy. He's the new Spoonie. He's reviewing Final Fantasies better, with more anger and sarcasm. These things don't add up. Like, when you drag your personal hardships out, I mean, yeah, you can form a closer bond with people out there, but I feel like that realm of parasocialness, like that Pandora's box, once you open it, no matter what you do, you can't put it back in, and then people start forming emotional bonds with you. So that's what you're seeing, these two camps of, did he do it? He's a nice guy. They're so emotionally invested here rather than looking at it from a pragmatic point of view. And my stance on the whole Pro Jared thing is in the stuff behind the scenes, okay? We don't, nobody, even if your wife has been on stream with you, you don't need to announce the divorce. Just let the lawyers deal with it. Don't put it out in the public, because now it's everyone's problem. When you put out the twit longer, when you put out the video and the pics, when you're holding a private Sin Jared Tumblr that's for adults, for consenting adults, there's no way a kid would find this. There's no way that millions of people would end up seeing this for consenting adults. Whatever. Keep it behind closed doors if you're a public figure. It's just beneficial for everyone. so I can continue to listen to your takes on Final Fantasy without picturing the the joystick Photoshop, okay? Never going to leave my brain. Thanks, Jared. Anyway, now, was it wrong for Girard's friends to come out and defend him? Absolutely not. That's what homies are for, okay? You need some voices of reason, some people in your corner to come out there and say, hey, let's wait until all the facts come out. I want to hear what Girard has to say. Then he waits like a month to come out with this video. Ill-advised. But still, there are people out there that are reasonable. I'm going to judge this as objectively as possible. I'm going to remove myself from the situation. He's my friend. I want to hear him out. Innocent until proven guilty. And not very often. But yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. However, I was reading a lot of those takes straight out of the gate of Girard's friends and all of his collective clique. And they were just automatically dunking on Mutahar and Carl. Like they didn't do their due diligence, like they didn't present they wouldn't even watch their videos. That's where I take umbrage. Like if you're going to say that somebody's farming for drama, give the video a chance, watch it through, do your due diligence, and then, post the tweet. So a lot of people jump the gun. That happens. But there's also some other people that I felt handled the situation properly. Like they're in close proximity with Girard the Completionist. And, they've worked with him in the past. He's been on their channel or they've been on his channel in some regard. Like Pat the NES Punk. Pat the NES Punk, by the way, I listen to Pat a lot. I know in the retro gaming community scene and maybe YouTube in general, he has some hot takes and he's set in his ways because he's a retro gamer. But I like that about him. I like it when somebody has a different opinion than me and, is willing to defend it. And I think out of everyone who came out in Girard's corner, Pat put out the most prescient and even-handed statement about disavowing this whole situation. And he puts out a 2-page letter. He's like, listen, I watched both of the videos and accusations against the Open Hand Foundation. I've actually donated, Pat donated some of his books to the streams, the Indie Land streams, so they could be those awards or those prizes you can get, raffles and stuff. So he's actually had a vested interest in hearing both sides of this because he donated and he was a participant in some of these streams. So he comes out with the most even-handed statement out of all of them. He said, I wanted to wait. I wanted to hear Girard's point of view. And after looking at all the facts as they are and listening to Girard's statements, I got to distance myself from this. I am in no way okay with charity fraud because Pat himself, if you didn't know, puts out the NES Marathon. And I've been watching and I've donated to Pat's NES Marathon since the beginning. Since he was just I think it was 2 guys and a little webcam, just playing through all the NES games he had in his collection. It's been going for a long time. So you'll start to see people that have actually done their own charity streams get really pissed off in this situation because, once again, all of this reflects, even if they had no ill intentions, it reflects on everyone who's been trying to do things right. And so if you want to hear, I feel, the most reasoned take on this, somebody who had a dog in the fight, Pat the NES Punk, he put it out on his Twitter. Thanks for the super chats I see coming in here. Mr. Grimm, I'm going to read that. Let me get a drink of water. We've been rambling for about an hour now, almost 45 minutes. So I apologize, but I need a drink. Mr. Grimm says, for $2, just the smugness and discrediting the critics. I watched in real time on Twitter just a public backtracking, like just waves and waves of shitbit Bobby, shitbit Bobby, or cool dude retro dad, and all this, like all these like third tier rogues gallery of retro gaming YouTubers come out instantly saying that this is all for drama. This is all bullshit. Gerard's a good guy. He's a nice guy. I know him. He once shook my hand at Screw Attack Gaming Convention 2015. Nice guy. Innocent, by the way. Or once he read my donation on a stream that on a charity on Indieland. I donated money. He gave me a shout out. And so he's innocent. That's really the other side of the argument. I mean, yeah, of course, there's the reserved people that were waiting, but they refused to watch the videos in question. They dismissed anyone who was, like, presenting facts. Like, why didn't he ever answer this primary question? Why did the Open Hand Foundation need to be a middleman? Okay? Why? What's the stated intended purpose here? To hold this money. And then, like, there's people in the comments trying to explain to the game chasers how money loses value due to inflation from sitting around in a non-interest bearing account. Like, interest in a bank account never keeps up with inflation. I mean, you're better off putting that money to use or investing in something. But, like, essentially, more money was robbed due to inflation. Plus, there's also a whole golf charity event in the background that's unaccounted for. So there may just be more hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's bits. There's subscriptions to Twitch, super chats, ad revenue, and clout. The most valuable of them all, clout. Because you gotta understand, like, when you put together one of these charity events, you get the clout. You may not get the money. He got the money, but you may not. But you do get the clout at the end of it. Good guy. He did good thing. Okay, that sticks to you. But it also raises you above. Like, it puts you on this, like, pedestal, if you will. Raises you up for whenever you fuck up, you fall a bit harder. So that's kind of what he's going through. The funniest backtracking tweet I saw, and I don't know this YouTuber's name because, like, as I said, I don't watch a lot of these YouTubers. Like, this is not my content area. I don't know any of these guys personally, just like me and you. I'm just the guy on the screen. Okay, I just see them as things on the screen. I don't see them as people. They ain't people to me. But one of these YouTubers that was Gerard's friend came out and just was like shitting on everyone else. Like, you guys are going to be really sorry. You're going to be really sorry when it comes out he's completely innocent. And he was just dogging on everyone that was in the replies and stuff like that. Like, I know him. I've got insider info that hasn't been released yet, but I'm not going to release it to exonerate my best friend. I'm just going to say I got this insider info and nothing, right? It never came back out. Like, now is the time for insider info. If you've got the exonerating piece of evidence, release that shit because he needs it. Anyway, so this guy, close friend of Gerard's, hot out the gate, just trashing on everyone, saying, you're going to be sorry, you're going to be sorry. It's another Pro Jared situation. And then I think it's like the fourth video comes out. The Discord whole chat comes out where you get the full context. And then he writes like a four-page apology tweet. And in that tweet, this is the given reason. The given reason is Yeah, that night I put out all those tweets, I was hitting the bottle pretty hard, and then I decided to go on Twitter, and that was a mistake, and I won't do that again. I just got real fucked up, and I decided to just fire up Twitter, and like that was it. That's all you got, man. Can you just? This is weird to me because when you get associated with some bullshit that you don't want a part of, right? I've been on YouTube a long time. I've talked to a lot of people. Like I've actually been in a video of somebody who has been effectively canceled off the internet. And, you know, my first reaction is not to draw attention to it. Okay? I didn't know who any of these, who Gerard's friends were until they came out and told me. And then told me that no amount of scrutiny thrown at him would be good enough. He's innocent. He's a nice guy. So when these situations occur and you're so close to the situation, do what Pat did and just like let it all come out. Give it a month, right? Give it a month. It was about a month before he said anything. That's probably enough time to assess the situation. Okay. You usually will get both sides by that time, unless one of the parties goes quiet. And that's also understandable. Quiet does not equal guilt. Ever. Okay. We have a system called due process where I come from. But like you really, the last thing you should do in these situations is address anything legally. You know, I mean, if you got to say something, say like, look, I'm going to take some time to evaluate everyone's concerns and I'll catch you on the flippity flop. BRB. I'll come back when I have a really prepared statement. And I'm trying not to threaten anyone in a legal mindset. Because I think that unless you are 100% dead to rights, you got the smoking gun that the other person that's slandering you, that's libeling you, is doing such things to where it warrants a legal thing. You should never imply you're going to sue someone, because I guarantee Mutahar and Carl have better lawyers than the Completionist, because they're in the muckraking game, okay? They get down and dirty. This ain't their first time they've dealt with this, I'm sure. So he was out of his element. He's out of his element. Rich kid energy wouldn't just take his blows, okay? It just didn't want to come out there and admit fault. And there's one other piece of this puzzle that's being neglected. We're going to get into that. Chat, thank you so much. I've been kind of neglecting you. Been on a roll. Sometimes we do. You know, some people are just like, what? I didn't play a video game for this reason. I didn't play a video game for this reason because when I play a video game and I go into my tangents, people who came to watch the video game are like, why are you talking? I came here for the video game. All right. Now, one voice that hasn't been heard in this whole ordeal, the one voice that matters the most, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's surreal to me. This shit is unbelievable. Jamie Lee Curtis is an icon. She's a scream queen. She killed Michael Myers on several occasions. Okay. Scream queen. Humanitarian. Activia. Like her bowel movements are regular. And probably more than mine. She is beloved, we should say. And recently, it's kind of come out that she's a gamer. Her daughter I think her daughter works for Girard as an editor or something. And that's kind of how Girard had a connection to Jamie Lee Curtis. And Jamie Lee Curtis is now being embraced by the gaming community. Like, there's photos of her dressed up like Vega from Street Fighter. Go check them out. It's kind of cool. Good cosplay. But me as John Q. Public, okay, just small little YouTube channel here on my own island. I saw Jamie Lee Curtis as part of the streams. Like, I saw her go on the Completionist channel. The first thought I had in my head is like, this is it. This is legitimizing YouTube in a way that cannot be replicated. You have Jamie Lee Curtis, who is an institution in both the horror community, and I think she's got an Oscar. She's well loved, and also you don't want to cross her because she can probably kick your ass. I don't know. She just has that, angry visage. Like, don't get on her bad side. So Jamie Lee's daughter works for Girard, and Girard uses that connection to his advantage, okay? This is probably the most transactional relationship that just struck out to me out of this whole ordeal. Like, imagine, I don't know, being a Nepo baby, because that's kind of what the situation is. You're a Nepo baby, you love video games, big video game YouTuber pretends to be your friend, and then uses you and your mother's money. We're talking about $15,000, $25,000 at one point, year after year after year. And he is leeching off of your mother's amazing reputation. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis, probably one of the cleanest reputations out of anyone. People love her. She's still in movies. She still draws a crowd. And she's, she's an activist. She's outspoken and stuff. But ultimately, people, they vibe with her. And now you've got to explain to your mother that all the money that she gave from her charity organization to this middleman charity organization, I don't know where it went, Mom. I'm sorry. I am still waiting for this is the final blow, the nuclear part of this whole thing. When Jamie Lee Curtis says something, or if she gets her lawyers involved or something, that is going to be the tastiest Garmin Boja in suffering of Girard the Completionist. Jesus didn't suffer as much as when Jamie Lee Curtis comes into the fray with her lawyers. It's going to be, this is the best part. I'm waiting for it. I need her, even if it's a tweet, to even get onto that level, because this was it. You can see it throughout Girard's career that he was trying to break out of YouTube. YouTube is it's a lost cause, if we're honest with each other. It's a very lost cause. Not much money to be made. Not much ad revenue to go around when there's millions of YouTube shorts out there stolen from longer videos and republished by bots over and over and over again. Ad revenue is just all-time low. All of his audience is growing up. They're leaving him. Like, I believe his last Indie Land didn't do as well as previous years. I think even Jamie Lee kicked in less money. Everyone's hurting. So, in this Discord call, he was thinking about an exit strategy, and his exit strategy was to be an indie game developer. By the way, if you're looking to sustain yourself, and break away from YouTube, being an indie developer is being a starving artist. I have indie developer friends that can tell you the same. It is 100% a passion project. Almost no money to be made until like way, way later on. You're putting in time, money, sacrificing everything for a chance to be completely delisted in the Steam algorithm because one disgruntled guy didn't know how to install a driver that's necessary to run the game. Because they couldn't run the game, they left a bad review with 0.01 time played. And that fucks up the entire algorithm, and your game is shadow banned. That's happened. That happened a lot. I know one guy in particular, sadly, that happened to. So, Girard was banking on making this pivot into indie game development, riding on his YouTube fame. But once that fame, or once the veil has been lifted and he's not the nice guy, suddenly he's getting patched out of Sea of Stars. Like it's all crumbling down in the most, like, I don't know, shade and fraud, like beautiful train wreck I've ever seen. I don't know if there's a lesson to be learned here, because how many of us are actually going to achieve what he did? To his credit, he got on G4. Good job. He got Jamie Lee Curtis on his stream. For a good decade, people loved him. He had the adoration. He had it all. And then to watch him completely just drop the bag in a manner of speaking. But he did. It was the worst like, I agree. I know there's like inflammatory thumbnails out there. Worst apology ever. He fucked it up. I'm not anyone's advisor, okay? I'm not a lawyer or whatever. But if it were my friend, I would have told him, like, first of all, call up Jamie and try and explain the situation. Lie to Jamie Lee Curtis first. And get her to make a good statement on your behalf. Once you get Jamie Lee Curtis, you've lied to Jamie Lee Curtis, then she'll come out like, oh, there's a misunderstanding. I'm fine. The money's going to a good place. If you can convince her, then everyone else, easy. But I just don't think there's any way out of this. Will he retain some of his audience? Okay, to kind of put a bow on this. Is there a road back? I think no matter what, no matter who you are on YouTube, or if you're a public figure, there's always going to be somebody that will join you on no matter what you do. Okay. It doesn't matter if you got blood on the knife, your fingerprints are everywhere. There's still some people out there like, I think there's some reasonable doubt here. I'm gonna stick with them. Yeah, don't ever listen to, like, don't ever like look into true crime and all the fanboys of like the Columbine shooters and stuff. Shit will keep you up at night. But there are people out there that would still watch you. Will you be disgraced? Yeah. Will you have the same amount of people? Probably not. but I think there is still a minute path forward for our boy Girard. And that is to take everything that has happened, frame it as a big misunderstanding, and then make the claim that Chris Borres, the irate gamer, is the true CEO of the Open Hand Foundation, and walk away from YouTube. And just leave it there. Just leave. What? And then people start digging into the irate gamer and all this old ancient YouTube. Yes, it makes sense. He's a plagiarist. H Bomber guy said that's bad, and he's the original. Like, just open up another can of worms and walk away. Just throw some dynamite. You're out. I honestly don't think there's a way back for him. There is no way back. You can't walk this off. And I think it's okay to give your take. People try and shame you for not speaking up about these things, or saying like, why are you saying anything before it's gone to court or whatever? Because the damage is done. No matter if he's innocent or not, he's already like raised so much suspicion towards charity organizations. Like, maybe the bottom line of AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick, the speedrunning, maybe that might be affected. I believe they got an event coming up here soon because of this open hand shit. People talk to each other. It has ripple effects for everyone else. And I think that's what makes this a more ethically heinous situation, because like there's really not okay, primarily speaking, as an American, as a man from Burgerland, I've been in retirement homes. I've worked with people that are mentally unwell or impaired in such a way to where they have Alzheimer's or dementia, and they just can't live by themselves. They need assistance. In America, like, we have almost no good programs for our elderly, okay? They expect a lot of us to work until we die, or they'll put you, this is awful. I'm going to say it though. They'll put you in a retirement community that's like publicly funded. And then all the RAs that work there and all the nurses and stuff like that are just like these like 20-year-old kids. And they'll just like beat the shit out of the elderly and the demented and then post videos of it that end up on World Star or TikTok or worse. Like, it's fucked up. Okay. This is a lot of memas and peepaws that are affected by this situation. So now he's effectively destroyed anyone's perception of dementia charities, and almost kind of turned the very real and serious condition into kind of a joke in a sense. And he also did it off the back of his dead mother, which I'm not cool with. Like, I'm like Carl here. I don't really talk a lot about my personal life on YouTube because there's no benefit. There's no benefit unless you're angling for a parasocial connection, which he was. Clearly, he was trying to build that sort of reputation with his audience to where he's their friend. And here's some personal details and some really bad, terrible stuff that happened to me this one time. And other people who also have their own experiences, like every one of you in chat have some tragic shit that has gone down in your life, but you don't really make a career out of it, right? You don't use it necessarily to prop yourself up in any, I don't know, financially beneficial way. If you can do it, for real, do it. If you can somehow swing it, like, I got a dead mom, can I have a job? Do it. But he's in like such a different position in life. Like, I cannot feel sorry for him no matter how hard I try, because the way my biases lean is that this is a rich kid who's been handed everything. He got the privilege to do what he's done throughout the years. He's been on TV. He's had this great reputation. He could have done some real good in the world, and he just completely fucked it up. For reasons unknown right now, it seems like his family's more tied into this than what we know. But I think that's kind of like the most heinous thing ever. Like, I never once had the impression that this guy was genuine. Everyone on YouTube plays up a character in some way or another. Their best possible, their most entertaining self that they can be to get people to watch or do whatever, right? You know, Miles here isn't always like, Miles out there. But one thing I'm just like not all right with is like using your personal tragedy to forward yourself, and then also as a shield in a way. Because I think a lot of people are apprehensive to criticize and ask Girard questions because demented dead mom. That's a card. That is the blue eyes white dragon that he can pull out, and then you are now the focus. Like, you're evil. You're now evil for asking why these numbers don't add up. Okay? It's really sad, because even if there were some reasonable people that knew Girard, well, I ain't touching that. That's a dementia foundation. His mom actually died, all this and stuff. Like, I don't want to cause any other stuff like that. So, in a way, like, not to moralize, but that in itself is kind of disgusting. Like, if I knew somebody would use that to kind of get out of a maybe not a parking ticket. That's kind of like a weird situation, but he's still kind of using his dead mother to save his own life, and she's been in the grave for like 15 years. I think you got a good 2 years. If I'm going to be reasonable, you got a good 2 years. 2 years, 2 years, you can say, dead mom, dead dad, dead whatever. I'm really fucked up. Can you help me out over this thing? Reasonable. 15 years? Come on, dude. Get over. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, this is okay. A little insider baseball. Both my parents are dead. Been dead for a while. Okay, I don't really talk about it. I don't have a reason to. It's not related to video games, so that's off the table. Not related to my streams per se, except in maybe this one circumstance. But does that change anything? Is it there an amount of time? If I gave you like how long it's been since they've been dead, does that make it more or less sad? Like, it's more like, God damn, they've been gone that long? Get over it, buddy. Okay, I've gone too far. But that's kind of where I sit on that. Like, he grew up rich. He had the most privileged position probably in America possible. I think he also like tried to like turn this into like there was another card that was played. I'm not going to bring it up, but like he was accusing Mutahar. Like they were accusing Mutahar of being racist. What? Maybe Carl, like if you're going to accuse anyone of being racist, maybe Carl, because he looks like a wonderkin. He's straying, okay? He had nothing to do with World War II. But I'm just saying, if you're going to accuse any of them, you're going to accuse Mutahar? Girard is like, rich kid, has like the most privileged position. Like people would kill to have his subscribers, the audience, his reputation. And you can see that in all like the coattail riders that surrounded him. They thought that like once he comes out of this is their plan. Okay, for one, all those people on YouTube that are your friends aren't your friends. They're in it because they want to sponge a little clout, right? They're the barnacle on the whale. And so this is what they're going to do. They think in their head that, okay, Girard's going to master plan, calculate his way out of this. And at the end of it, I want to show the world that I was on his side first, unquestioning loyalty to him, unwavering loyalty to my boy. So when everyone else in the world turns on him, he's going to come to me. He's going to come to me, and my drunk tweets are going to be the proof that he needs to put me in. I'm taking over. I'm the new completionist. He's going to retire the character like the nostalgia critic, and I'm going to be the new nostalgia critic. That's my like conspiracy theory on this. Like that, for real, they're all fake. Every YouTuber's fake. All the people in their audience are bots. They ain't real. Fake fans. The Jamie Lee Curtis needs her vengeance. And, and I swear to God, if this comes back to bite me, I'm not even going to care. I've said what I said. I stand by my words. The dude's fucking guilty. It's disgusting what he did, but it's also kind of funny because the layers, there's so many layers to this guy. And I feel that there are a lot of like people in his circle that are sweating, that kind of have that. I don't want to use the word groomed, but I'm gonna. They've groomed all these kids and Nintendo soy boys and all this shit to watch their content. And now, like, they're afraid the eye of Sauron is going to look at them. Scott the Waz. Gonna look at him. Look at him. I don't know. Okay, I'm not about to come out on a limb and say that, but I'm saying, like, you've now caused this cognitive dissonance, and some of these kids on their parents' iPads that have just been flicking through videos are now starting to wake up. You got a real problem on your hands. What are you gonna do? Anyway, that's been literally Who's take on the Completionist Saga. I hope I've covered all the pertinent events. I found it entertaining. I hope this happens again. Can't wait. It's people say I don't like release enough videos or I don't stream enough. They also tell you, okay, this is when you know somebody doesn't know shit about YouTube. They tell you that commentating on drama is a bad look. A lot of people look at that stuff, okay? It drives clicks. It's like we're vultures, okay? The meal is right there. He's already dead. Can I have a bite? Can I have a bite? But they say it's a bad look. But I'll tell you what. Just because people ain't talking about it doesn't mean they're not thinking about it and how it's going to affect their bottom line. To me, nothing. Nothing's changed over here at old Hikikomori Media. I'm just watching the trash fire. And I'm joining in with you. We're all eating popcorn, roasting some weenies, making some s'mores. I don't think I'll ever see myself. I hope not. Like, let's be real. I hope this never happens to me. These very specific sets of circumstances where I would have access and all this power. I sure hope that doesn't happen to me. Because I'm going to completely 180. All right. So, I'm going to read some chat. Chat, now's the time to get in the Q&A. If you had any questions, if you had a super chat and I missed it, please let me know. I think one of them flew by. So if you have any questions or any points you want to bring up, please bring them to my attention. I will commentate upon them. I thought this was a pretty good stream. Straight off the brain. I got $2.50 or €2.50 from JR. Driving home from work sucks being a Euro poor. No, I'm sorry, buddy. It sucks about the whole TV license thing. We got a question from Extreme Link. Other than Scott the Waz, who would you like to see this happen to next? I don't want anything to happen to that guy. I don't want anything to happen to that guy. I want him to just have a nice life. I got nothing against the dude, for real. But who deserves it? Who deserves it? There are a few people I can think of. Should I name them is the other thing. Hey, Cybershell for $20. Thank you, buddy. My annual charitable donation to the Hikikomori Media Foundation. Money well spent. It's going into lights from Amazon. We're lighting the set. Thank you, Cybershell. I want to see it happen to Cybershell next. No. Thanks, buddy. I always feel like I think Cyber would keep it real about the situation. Like if you were to ask him, he probably doesn't commentate upon it because it's not related to his content field. But I guarantee, I'm not going to speak for him, by the way, but I guarantee every single YouTuber that you watch that's, tangentially related to games has talked about this or has laughed about it or has posted a meme about it. Okay, it's in the public consciousness and domain. No judgments. Say what you got. You can always take it back. People forget. If you got the wrong take, just change your take later on. That's all you got to do. Stephen and Hikiko, how would you rate Pro Jared's sausage? Can you give a full review? Thanks. A 5.5 out of 10. I'm being generous. I met Pro Jared once. I met him once at the same convention that I met Girard at. Stuttering Craig. Hold on. By virtue of the internet, we're gonna collectively say Stuttering Craig in the chat. Okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig. Did he appear? Okay, let's get him. Let's keep spamming it. Let's keep spamming it. See if he shows up. I was what they call a G1. If you don't know what a G1 is, it's a member. There we go. A wall of Stuttering Craigs. Maybe he'll appear. Like his nose will itch. Huh? He'll show up in chat. I was what they call a G1. And that was like a member of the Screw Attack Gaming forums. Back in the day, there was these things called forums where buttoning, like beginning YouTubers would post their content. And this was like before, like YouTube was around, but there were other websites that would host videos, and Screw Attack was one of them. Screw Attack broke, the Angry Video Game Nerd, Pat the NES Punk, I think Guru Larry was on there, and Pro Jared actually worked at Screw Attack, and I'm not sure about Girard. Not sure about that, but I used to go to their conventions. Screw Attack had conventions, and I was literally just starting Hikikomori Media. I had the idea. I was actually on my buddy David's channel, where we just made Let's Plays of things and made bad jokes, and my voice was a lot higher back then. Pre-ball dropping, perhaps. But I went down to Texas. I went down to Texas, and I went to the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. And YouTube was like a much smaller community back during those days. Like when you had something like 10,000 subs, you were hot shit. You were a big fish. And that's like really all you needed at that time to have a panel. To have a panel at these conventions. So as a young buck YouTuber, I decided to go and try and glean some information. So I went to all the panels. I went to Mega 64. I still love Mega 64. They're still good. I went to Pat the NES Punk's panel. I went to Pro Jared's panel. By the way, I was sitting next to Angry Joe. I'm gonna shout out to Angry Joe. I was at Pro Jared's panel, and I got this photo somewhere. It's in David's memory card somewhere from this time. But I went to Pro Jared's panel, and I was seated right next to Angry Joe, and this was Angry Joe during the panel. that was Angry Joe, and I got a photo of Angry Joe, with this just like sullen look on his face. I cherish that photo, and so I noticed that there were these like cliques already established within the retro gaming community. Basically, there were these factions, like clans, if you will. There was Normal Boots, like JonTron was there. Pro Jared, I think, was part of it. Completionist was part of it. Cad Icarus, I think. So I kind of like was trying not trying to like, wean my, hey guys, what's up? I make shitty ass video game reviews. Can I join you? No, I was just like trying to figure out how they came up, and I believe like they gave a panel. There's like a main ballroom, and they gave a panel on how to like make clickbait thumbnails and the science of that. And how they started off kind of hostile during that panel. They're like, your titles of your videos fucking suck, and that's why no one's watching anything you gotta say. You gotta lie to your audience. You gotta honey dick them into clicking. So I kind of got, this is like back in 2014, 2015. I kind of got to feel like how cutthroat this was. Like I thought these were the biggest YouTubers in the world at the time, and they probably were. But all of them, like there's always a bigger star in the galaxy that they orbit around, okay? That's how these things work. There's a big star at the center, and then all these like, like tiny planets or dwarf stars, and then here's me, and I'm just way off the orbit path, and then there's there's everyone just trying to gleam a little warmth off the big star. And the big star, of course, was James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. So I would say this is not true anymore. This is not true anymore. But James Rolfe, AVGN, was the most untouchable YouTuber. He was the big wholesome chungus beard man, bing bing wahoo guy at the time, and deservedly so. He is a king. He has built this platform. Everyone owes how content is released and how people format things after James. I, to this day, cannot be mad at James. He's made some bad connections and what have you. But everything that all the advice that all these other YouTubers were giving were just what James did. They were exactly what James did. The same format, the same, story structure, skits. They tell you to do skits. Don't ever do skits. Coming from me. Skits just Zoomers don't understand them, or comedy for that matter, or they can't stand cringe. It kills them. Okay, not relevant advice. But in these clicks, I started like noticing who was showing up to what. Like, you would think, okay, this is for Cybershell out there. During the time of the Pro Jared, there's a Pro Jared panel. Across the hall, there was somebody doing like an entire acoustic medley of Crush 40's greatest hits from Sonic Adventure. And I sat and I listened to them do like Escape from the City, and like nobody came into their room to watch them play. Like, this took actual talent. They learned an instrument. They were honoring their favorite game. And they drove all the way out here to have an audience of me. Regretfully, I ended up leaving that room to go to Pro Jared's panel. And I think about like my own position and all the things that I do on YouTube. Like, I've worked a pretty hard amount of time. Like, I've dedicated a lot of time to this channel. I made some videos I'm proud of, a lot of shit in between. But ultimately, I learned a lot on the way. I don't feel like that same, and this is not sour grapes, a little bit sour grapes, but I feel like that pathway, that long, hard road of adversity and failure and stuff wasn't necessarily felt by those same people at that convention. Because just out of nowhere, like, it was just like, hey, this guy's my buddy. Let's put him up on Normal Boots. Hey, this is my guy. This is my buddy. He's going to be a featured player on Retroware. This guy over here in the fedora, front page of Channel Awesome. Let's boost him up. Okay? And so it was kind of like a humbling experience because, like, Nobody had any real advice. All they were doing was like walking in the footsteps of angry video game nerd to come before him. And then the people that were left, like 10 years later, the people that are still left had already turned on one another. They'd already backstabbed every single one of those fuckers in the panel. Everyone dunked on Spoonie and his bipolar meltdown. Couldn't wait to dance on his grave. All these same people, like when JonTron had the Destiny debate, were quick to completely bury him. I think like JonTron, he's fine. He got out of it. So all these same people, like they've either quit YouTube, they stabbed somebody who was at those same panels in the back. They have some weird sex crimes going on. Some of them do. And so I look back at my time in my life there when I was just eager, and I wanted to be a big YouTuber, and I wanted the clout, and I wanted the theme song, and I wanted the skits with my best friend Mike Matei. And then I realized, like, every single one of them, James included, have had their own share of like a personal hell that they had to voyage through, and they had to explain themselves to their audience. They're definitely beholden to that audience, and it's like a ball and chain. They cannot release it no matter what they do. A lot of them just can't make that pivot into like doing everyone knows James wants to be a filmmaker. He's old, he got kids, got no time, all that stuff. He's probably never going to do it, which is depressing. And these other guys too, they're all like buddy. They'll go on a panel with each other. They'll go to each other's panels and fall asleep and then have an existential Angry Joe crisis. But none of them would truly have their back when it came to, like, the most you're going to get, people are going to put on the line for these guys like Girard is a tweet. That's as far as they're going to go. They're not going to show up in court as like a goodwill character witness. Not going to happen. Not going to send them a postcard or, bake them a hot meal. Sorry this happened to you, bud. It's all fake shit. And I learned that as early as the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. Thank you, Stuttering Craig. And I think Stuttering Craig like realizes this. Like he's seen all this shit happen to like some of his former members. He's been through his own stuff like that. But it's interesting to see the paths and how they diverge in life. As me, I'm just up. I'm fine. I'm all right. I still got a life on the outside. I still go to Ghibli movies. I still, I still have fun and I have friends. And nobody gives a shit about my YouTube thing. None. It's cringe and it's lame. But I do it for you, and I do it for the love of games. Like I got negative clout from doing this. When people find out I have a YouTube channel, they're like, "Really? You do that?" So it's a net negative for me, no matter how you slice it. All right, dude face. I'm not sure. Dude asterisk face. I don't know what you said. Who needs them? You rock, sir. Glad I caught you. Me and my best bro love your videos. Well, dude face, thank you. Thanks to your friends. Appreciate that. I had a fun time making them. Still making them. I got a thing behind me. Right there. Right. Hold on. Gotta get my directions down. Right there. That I'm working on. I'm kind of building a diorama right now for a project. We'll see if it gets out this month. Hidden Block, yeah. Naveed, I was on Hidden Block in that time. Met some really good people through that. Really thankful for that aspect of everything. Yeah, as I said before, a lot of networking, a lot of nepotism, rich kid energy. Rich kid energy will take you far in this business. Thank you, Glaveson, for them. Give me them badges. Hope you enjoyed the badges. Swivel Hip Smith for $20. Thank you. You are literally the only good gaming channel on this godforsaken dog. I don't know about that. There's some good people out there. Subscribe to GameSack. That's all I got. That's really all I watch is I watch GameSack. Subscribe to them. Enjoy their work. All right. Anything else? Going, gone? Do you think 2024 will be the year of the Spoonie? 2023 was the year of the Spoonie. What are you talking about? He can have another one. What about SNES Drunk? Never watched him. Sorry. GameSack is good. I agree. Hikiko deserves way more subs. Nah, we're good. We're okay. I'm very happy that I hit 20K. I can't even count that high, so that's something. With more subs comes more problems, as evidenced by this stream. Coconut's in here. GameSack's great. Everyone's in agreement. Art and Times of J. Ryan. I found you way back when you were doing skits like Blue Stinger. Some of my favorite stuff of yours, Hikiko. Yeah. A lot of my skits have kind of like melded into the streams. Because it's the real me. Something like that. Thank you so much. You'd probably like SNES Drunk. I don't know. If I'm going to be real with you guys, like if it's a retro-focused channel, GameSack is the only one that I watch. I watch Classic Game Room back in the day. I don't really branch out at all. No particular reason other than like I already have 100 things I'm subscribed to. And it's hard to even keep up with that content. And I've been watching Fish Tank. If you guys know what Fish Tank is, I've been watching that as well. And then I also watch produced content like television and movies, a lot of movies. So it's really like nothing personal against what other people are putting out there. But for me, like if I start like watching everyone else's videos, then I'm not making my videos, and I'm also not like producing original work based on my own thoughts, that sort of thing. I'm just a producer on this platform, not so much a consumer. Did you see CGR's back? I saw CGR. Hell yeah, Fish Tank says Drunk Ass Gaming. Yeah. I just caught season 2 last night. I introduced my buddy Mark to it. It was great. Threadweaver says, love you, Hikiko. Thanks for your sacrifices, IRL, for this channel. Yeah. Editing takes a lot of time. I'm not going to say it's the hardest job ever, but to like, I don't know, do everything by yourself takes a long time. Like I'm envious. I am envious of people like the Completionist that has 20 people to like, you know, you could just shit out any old thing of you playing a game and then people edit it into something good and put flashy graphics and animations and then network for you. Like when you're doing all that stuff solo, you're barely keeping your head above water in most circumstances. But I'm always happy like when I'm done with it. If that makes sense. Like no matter what happens when I fire it out into the ether, I'm just happy to be done with it. Like, okay, I said what I needed to say. I'm out. I'm done. Yeah, Glaveson, I've got that clip to leave that like, but since I did the full camera thing here, all my plugins and shit are dead. Sorry. Silent Hill Ascension thoughts? Nobody's thinking about that. I think they had a substantial drop-off of viewership because nobody's playing it, kind of, unless you're a pay pig. I mean, I didn't have any expectations going into it. They advertised exactly what it was going to be. They did it with The Walking Dead before. Is it Ginvid or something that made Silent Hill Ascension? It's just a straight up narrative choose your own adventure book that you pay to flip the pages in. The clips I've seen of it are bad, but I had no other expectations for it. I still think the Silent Hill 2 remake is going to be good. I think that Bloober is a competent enough developer to handle it. It's kind of one of those things like where people are so emotionally attached and invested to Silent Hill, but I feel that they have some of the best environmental artists in the industry. And environment like Silent Hill 2's gameplay is very basic. Okay, big pointy stick, bonk the guy on the head, give them a little kick so they don't come back. Super basic combat, okay? Like the only game in the series that tried to do something new was Homecoming, where they tried to add combos and things, and that was universally panned. But I wouldn't be upset if they tried to make a more involved combat system and they had like more side missions or quests within the town. Because I recently played through Silent Hill 2. I've beaten the game probably 10 times in my lifetime. And Silent Hill 2 is my first surrealism, my first survival horror. It's very accessible. Okay, it's got varying degrees of easy. The twists are not that crazy, I feel. It's one of those games that I'm not saying it's overrated. I think it's properly rated. It earned its place in history. Great soundtrack, probably Akira's best work. Atmosphere, unparalleled. But like there are things that could be improved upon. Like yeah, everyone will excuse like, oh, the combat's supposed to be clunky and unenjoyable because he's just a guy, and that's how Silent Hill is. I think there's room for improvement. I think there's a way to do it to where you like if I were to do Silent Hill 2, I would kind of like make it more in line with the Psycho Killer games like Clock Tower or something. Like have more, like if you're gonna go in that direction of making James pathetic, then kind of strip him a little bit more and make him a little bit more defenseless. Not necessarily completely like Silent Hill Shattered Memories, but somewhere in the middle there between Silent Hill Shattered Memories and Silent Hill 2 is the answer. But I like it. I think that there's no surprise left in Silent Hill 2. And like the whole Silent Hill community as it is are a series of complainers, like any group has their series of complainers. They think they have the most informed opinion and they know the sources for every inspiration of the game, and that, I don't know, that they're historians, if you will. And they're also like really bad gatekeepers. They really don't want anyone else coming in and enjoying it. Just, I thought it was scary. I thought Silent Hill 2 was scary. I was frightened. And then I played it once and I was done with it. Like, they don't want those. They want to have a deeply involved video essay conversation that they can disagree with because they have the right take. I don't know. There's a lot of people carrying the torch for that franchise, and they have been for over a decade. They've been trying to tell people, like, don't play the Western games. Don't enjoy any sort of, like, spin-offs or anything that's inspired. Only these 3 games, not even 4. Some people hate 4. Only these 3 games you should play. Like, look at me. Look at me, okay? I've had that since I was in high school, by the way. I've been with the series for the beginning. I've always found aspects of it to be a bit clunky, but I overlooked those for the greater atmosphere, the characters, the soundtrack, the overall narrative. But I don't think that if Bloober makes a 1-to-1 remake, I would be disappointed. Like, if it's the same game again, I kind of don't want to play the same game again. I want to see a new take, a new spin on things, because Silent Hill 2 is easily accessible. You can get it right now on archive.org, but it's there. You can play it on your PC. Anything can run it. So you always have the original experience. I'd rather see these guys take it into a wild new direction, throw in some twists, change an ending, add a few endings, do something with it to give it a reason to exist. I find a lot of remakes don't take enough liberties, rather than trying to please the fans. Like what? The fans now are in their 30s and 40s right now. That don't worry about them. They still got a PS2 somewhere. Anyway. Is that it, guys? You got anything else? Any parting shots? My stream says we're about hour 45. Should we round this off into 2? Should we go? Did we really need a Resident Evil 4 remake? Javier, yeah. Resident Evil is a lost cause. It's been bad. It's been real bad since I would say about 5. And there was a whole decade of shit. So if they want to take their most successful game and use that to fund other things like Resident Evil 7 and 8 and 2 and 3 remake, then fine. I have no problem with them going for that bag. And 4, I think it's okay. I don't like the last section of the game. I've never liked the military section at all. I'm just not a huge fan of 4 in general. I would say that's overrated for sure. Don't leave me yet, Hikiko. RE4 was amazing. Thoughts on Metal Gear Solid Delta? It seems like they're just going to be using the same voice acting. I think David Hayter's involved. And when David Hayter's involved, they probably didn't change much about it. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to re-record any lines. You should probably gave him his blessing or whatever. He's getting paid for it, I'm sure. Otherwise, he wouldn't promote it. I mean, what? It's just an Unreal Engine showcase. Unless you make Metal Gear 3 seamless, like an entire seamless no zone world, then I don't know what's left to do with it. Definitely wouldn't be my first pick for a remake. I'd probably, honestly, if it were up to me, I would have remade the original 2 MSX Metal Gear games, and I don't know, use the Fox engine or something, rub salt in Kojima's wounds. But I probably would have gone there because there's a lot of a good framework to build off of. Thoughts on Hotel Barcelona? Think it looks bland, says Warehouse Dave. Yeah, I'm not impressed. I'll say that. Swear he's got me blocked on Twitter, if you can believe it. It's for the dumbest reason, and it's David's fault, not mine. But I had to see this. I saw this trailer. I think it was. I don't even know if Suda's promoting this, and I'll tell you why. Because Hotel Barcelona is running in the Unity engine, I believe. Because The Missing was developed with Unity, and The Good Life was developed with Unity, and Suda does not like the Unity engine. So I think this is more of a Swery's deal than it is Suda. I think Suda maybe just had a couple of talks with him, just said, okay, go do your thing. But I am not holding out any hope that's going to be great. Swery's let me down recently with his past few games. The last good game he made was The Missing, and now he's using the same engine to make a Let It Die loot box kind of game. It remains to be seen. I will withhold further judgment still in. I'm not going to answer that. Let's see. Swery has you blocked. You're his biggest fanboy. Says where it's not my fault. Kind of. I just held him to his own promise. It's the stupidest reason. Okay. $5 super chat, and I will tell you the story. And we will end it there. If I get a $5 super chat, I will tell you why Swery blocked me. I'll give you some time. Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig, Stuttering Craig. You can't burn all your material for free. I mean, I'm probably gonna mention it if I choose to do another Swery Files at some point. I'll probably mention it just as an offhanded joke, but I'm willing to part with that precious info. Dakota Foss says, I thought The Good Life was a few degrees off of being a genuinely good game, but it did sink its hooks into me for like a week. I played it for a good week. It wasn't that good. Y'all know how I feel. Oh my God. Thank you so much. We got $10. Now I gotta tell you. Mr. Prince, why did Swery block you, man? Dude Face says, short hands, deep pockets in this chat. All right. I'm going to leave you with this. Friendly reminder, leave that like. I saw we had like 100 people here. We had 100 people. That was wild. Thanks for showing up. Let me see. Yeah, let's see where the peak was. The peak was 110 viewers. A new record! So thank you. I want to thank you all for showing up. You're all my friends on the internet and in real life. Just a reminder, I love you. I love you, and this money's going to a good cause. Me. All right, and we also got Dude Face, short hands, deep pockets in the chat. So we got $10. So let's dial it back. They want to know why Swery blocked me on Twitter. Let me tell you how I engage with creators on Twitter, like people I respect, people I follow. I don't tag them in things. I try not to write things in a way where I'm afraid they'll find it. I keep all my stuff to YouTube. Like, okay, here's the funniest thing. Swery had shared my Good Life video without having watched it. That should tell you something. I feel like Swery, hey, what's up? I see your video. You're talking about the Good Life? Thanks, bro. Puts it out there. And it's just like an hour of me, line by line. This is where he made a promise. This is where he didn't keep it. All this, right? I think I've managed to avoid being blocked after my Good Life video. I've managed to avoid being blocked by any of my other, Deadly Premonition 2 video was another hot button one. Unscathed. However, I was just tweeting out Swery facts one day. And I was talking about D4 because I think it was D4's anniversary. And somebody had commented that, man, I really want season 2. And it's sad that it ended the way it did. And I said, fun fact, Swery promised in a Reddit AMA that he would release the unofficial script to D4 season 2 if he reached 1,200 backers, I think, or something like that, a certain amount of money, and he way surpassed it. Good Life made way more. Way more. Say that there's a D4 script milestone, it went up here. It should be released, right? I wasn't making a big deal about it, but I was just actually, Swery has written D4 season 2. There's a script for it. He has it, but he has to release it. You know how they did with Half-Life episode 3, Half-Life 2 episode 3, where they had to kind of change some of the names and things like that. He would have to do that for D4 season 2. And somebody didn't believe me in that tweet. So I'm like, oh, here's a screen cap of where he directly says, if The Good Life reaches this amount of backers, I will release the script for D4. So I just posted my receipts. And my friend David, King Game Review, friend of the channel, alleged friend of the channel, decided to quote tweet that screen cap where I'm like, haha, Swery lied. I didn't say he lied outright, but he said he was going to release it and he just didn't. And I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny that he said he was going to, like, if you gave me this money, I'm going to release the script to one of the biggest cliffhangers I've ever put out. I just think the whole scenario's funny. I wasn't even mad, but I posted the screen cap. So friend of the channel, David, quote tweeted it, and then he tagged Swery, and he put an emoji that went like this. Swery? Nudge? Like, That's all he posted. He didn't say anything else. He posted an emoji of this guy, thinky face. Swery saw that. He blocked David, and then he blocked me. What the fuck did I do? David's the one who tweeted it. So now I don't know what Swery's doing. Haven't been keeping up. He's dead. He's dead to me. I'm never going to talk about his games again, but I thought that was ridiculous. What did I do but point out, like, hey, remember I'm the guy who, like, backed your project, and I backed it on the basis that you would release D4 Season 2 script? Remember that whole thing? He's got a wet brain. He probably forgot he even blocked me. That's messed up. I say 50-50 responsibility. Okay. Thanks, David. Very cool. David Lamau. Yeah. David's birthday's coming up soon. I'm going to wish him happy birthday. I'm going to bring this up. I'm just going to bring this up in front of his friends and family. You want to know why I'm blocked by Swery65? All because of this. Anyway. Banned for speaking the truth. That's it, folks. I'm out of here. It's been real. Thanks for the good stream. Thanks for the super chats. Love y'all. Best friends, IRL. See ya.